my name is Marissa, and I am the math coordinator for an elementary school. I've been using Intooba in my classroom for the past 2 years, so I thought I would show you some of the ways that I use it that I find to be really helpful to extend and support the existing math curriculum. The first activity that I'm going to show you is an activity that actually comes with the Intooba set. And it's an activity that revolves around patterns, because patterns and math really go hand in hand. I've used it for second grade, but you can use it for a really kind of precocious group of first graders or a group of third graders. And the activity starts like this. It asks the students to build a square using any of the Intooba pieces. So we have a square. And then the next question asks for the children to add a square to the side of the existing square, so that you would end up with a figure that looks like this. So the students build this. And then it asks for them again to add an additional square, so they have a figure that looks like this. And all along the way, it's asking the students to record, okay, how many squares do we have? How many rods are we using? So by the time they get to 3 squares, we're building 3 squares and we're using 10 rods. And then the activity stops with the building for a moment and it asks, if we were building, let's see, what's the number that it says? Right, if we were building 5 squares in all, how many rods would we need? And there's no building involved, although you can have the kids build, but the goal is to have the kids look at the pattern and say, wait a second, I'm going from 4 to 7 to 10. Oh, it's all a difference of 3. So if I'm adding on 2 more squares, then I should go from 10 to 13 to 16. Oh, so in all, I'm going to have 16 rods. So that's the end of the basic activity. And the next part comes with 2 extension questions. And for these questions, it encourages the students to use what they have noticed about the patterns of basically adding by 3. And if they need to, they could sketch. But they should try not to actually build using the Intooba set. Although again, if they need to, they can. So the first extension question asks, if I'm using 19 rods in all, how many squares am I going to have? The second extension question goes a little bit deeper, and it asks, if I'm using 31 rods, how many squares do I have? So at this point, I've seen 2 different strategies. I've seen children sketch it out and sketch out the 19 rods and continue from what they already have. And then I've seen some deeper thinkers say something like this. Well, it looks like if I have 3 squares, I have 10 rods. 2 squares, I have 9 rods. Let's see. 4 squares, 5 squares, we know. 4 squares, we have 13 rods. 5 squares, 16 rods. So it looks like the number of squares, it's always, times 3 plus 1. So it must mean that if I have 19 rods, 3 times 6 is 18 plus 1 is 19. It must mean that I have 6 squares in all. And I've seen children work it in other ways as well, working backwards from 19 or backwards from 31. And just getting the children to recognize patterns using the skills they already have, like addition and subtraction, and towards the end of second grade, multiplication and division. I mean, that's the goal, I guess, of extending the math curriculum, is getting them to apply their mastered math concepts to a novel situation. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed.